Today on Sports Edition, we talk basketball. We have a program for parents to send their youngsters to, and we meet a young man that went from the track to writing a children's book. Don't touch that dial. Sports Edition starts right now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Edition. I'm Kenny McReynolds. Well, you know, Chicago is a basketball town, but you want your youngsters to start somewhere. And personally, I don't think parents should coach their youngsters. But there is a place you can send your youngsters to get the skills, the development, what they need to be a basketball player. It's called First Step. It's a pleasure to bring in my buddy, Corey Harper. Haven't seen him in a while. Corey, welcome to Sports Edition, and I love that not only are you the founder of First Step, you brought your daughter with you who played at Whitney Young and also the member of First Step, but I'm going to let Dad introduce his proud daughter.
Okay, I appreciate that. This is my daughter. This is Kristen Harper, who started with First Step when she was in 5th grade and played all the way through high school, and was able to obtain a scholarship to Grambling State University and finished there, and now is a productive citizen in our great country.
Right, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
That's what I like so much about First Step, is that, sure, it's basketball, but you also develop future leaders.
Correct.
Chrissy, tell me a little bit about First Step. I know you're biased because your dad is one of the co-founders, but let's say some parents out there watching the show, what would you tell them about First Step?
Well, I would definitely tell them it's a great program, not just because it is my dad's program and my Uncle John's program, but we really, and now that I'm more involved because I'm older, I'm actually the 4th grade assistant coach. I coach with my dad. Not just that we're so involved, but we really gear the kids early. We really, focus in on their development and their skill set and figuring out what their strengths are, figuring out what their weaknesses are, and really breaking those things down, at an early age. So once they do get older, they understand the game from A to Z.
Well, Corey, why was this First Step program even started?
Well, back when my daughter and my son were both younger, and they chose sports. The sport that they actually chose rather was basketball, and with them choosing basketball, we had them in a couple of different programs, and I really just didn't like the way the programs were set up because it was all about certain people's kids.
Oh,
so
been there, done that.
Right. So we decided to send them up north and have them play, and they did well up north. And then when me and John, because he had his son playing up there as well at that time, who's the other co-founder, we were sitting in the stands watching a game going on, and it just the light went off, and it said, you know what, this is nice up here, but why won't we bring this to the city the way we want to bring it to the city? We want to focus on everybody, not just my kid or his kid. We want to focus on everybody, and we want to let some of the inner city kids get a taste of traveling basketball and going to different places and playing against different competition, all over the Midwest basically. So that's basically how First Step started.
Now, Chrissy, if I have a daughter, let's say my daughter's 8, 9 years old, she said, you know what, I really kind of like basketball, I watch D-Wade on TV. Now, do we go to you and say, look, do you have a girls program, or do we go to you and just say, put her in basketball?
Well, right now, especially at that age, it's more so put her in basketball. We don't have a girls team right this minute. We do have a couple of girls in our small ball league, which would have fit your daughter's age group. But we would definitely just say get them in the gym, regardless if they're playing with girls or boys, because right now everybody's kind of on the same level anyway. Yeah. So, and they don't know the difference between genders right now anyway.
They're just playing. They
exactly.
Play ball.
Exactly.
Yes. See, my daughter would have played in high school. She was about 7. Like, hey, give me the hoop, man. I can go, but Dad, I can go. Give me the ball. Now, you know what? How do you continue to reach out to these youngsters today? Because there are so many different things youngsters can do and get into today, but you're still successful.
Well, what we really use is the basketball itself. That's the magnet. You put the basketball out there and kids are going to come. And once they come and they get in the gym, and then they get a chance to meet all of the coaches, then we flood them with love, and because our program is really built on our family atmosphere, and everybody will tell you that, from our alumni parents, alumni players, to the players of today, and these parents of today as well. It's a big family, and once we get them in and we preach to them, you all are actually playing basketball and trying to develop your skills so you can obtain a college scholarship and be able to go to school for free, because you can only play basketball for so long.
Exactly.
I mean, I played sports back when I was in high school and college, and that's over with now. I'm a grown man now, and I don't play anymore. And the same thing's going to happen with them. Same thing happened with Kristen. She played grammar school, AAU, college, high school, all that, and now she's in the real world. So,
right.
So we just try to preach that to the kids as much as possible.
Let prepare.
Exactly.
Prepare for life after basketball while you're playing basketball.
Exactly.
Hey, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about a documentary about First Step and a couple of your alumni. Hey, back in a minute. Welcome back to Sports Edition. I'm Kenny McReynolds. One final segment. First Step basketball. Corey, Christy, Harper. Corey, you have a couple of alumni. Mm-hmm. Probably the highest paid guy in the NBA, the best center in Anthony Davis.
Right.
And unfortunately, my man, Jabari Parker, has been on the show 20 times, injured again for the Milwaukee Bucks, was playing at all-star caliber before he got hurt last week. Right. Those are two pretty good alumni.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We were fortunate to have Jabari and Anthony play in the program as youngsters. With Jabari was always super skilled, always. His dad worked with him, and when he first came aboard, you could see that he was super skilled. He was always one of the bigger kids, but he was always more skilled than the smaller kids. So, Jabari's upside, you always could see it. And Anthony wasn't as big as Jabari was at that time. Right. He had long arms and long legs, and he blocked a lot of shots. And we came up with the nickname for Anthony back then, which was Butter. And the reason we called him Butter, because he always made his three-point shots, and he never missed free throws. And he was always a shot blocker, but Butter was his nickname back then, And with him growing, with having that growth spurt in high school and having those guard skills, it just took him to the next level, and he never looked back.
It's amazing. He grew 10 inches.
Right.
On this show, I asked him, did that hurt? He said no. I'm wondering how you grow 10 inches in like a week and it didn't hurt. That was unbelievable.
Right.
There's a documentary, First Family, the family away from basketball.
Right.
Is going to premiere at a film festival
in LA.
In LA.
Right.
What, this month?
Mm-hmm. Next weekend.
Next weekend,
Yeah.
okay. Tell me about this documentary and what can we see in this documentary?
Well, it's a documentary that was done by Alvin Daniels, who is a ex-CPS player, went to Julian High School, played against my buddy John, who's not here.
Is that the same Alvin Daniels I went to grammar school with?
I bet it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Alvin's right. So Alvin,
you should tear him up on the court. That's another story. Go ahead.
Right. He did the documentary, and what's so good about it is he went back to when we first started, and he came all the way up to date. So we first started from 2001 up to 2009 is when we stopped First Step, because Christy was getting ready to leave to go away to school, and actually I ran into some legal problems. John he had a divorce that was real deep, and so we put First Step on the shelf, and then we started back a couple of years ago because of the alumni calling and saying, you guys just don't know what the First Step meant to us. We have to bring it back, because especially now with the city, with so much stuff going on in the inner city with, all the shootings and things. And the light went off again. And me and John sat down, and let me mention Raul Sims, who was a big part of First Step when we first started, and he's still a big part of it right now. He was one of the co-founders when we first started. But the documentary, it really shows how big off the family part of First Step is. It shows it shows how hard the kids have to work, to get to the next levels, you know, to keep moving up the ladder. It talks about everything. It's just a really good documentary that I believe everyone will really enjoy watching.
Okay, Christy, tell me quickly, how do we get in touch with First Step if we have students and parents that want to be involved and put a student into your program?
Well, they can go to our website that I actually designed.
Okay.
You just go on firststepyouthfoundation.com. You go to the contact page and put in your information. It comes straight to my inbox, and I'll get right back to you.
FirstStepYouthFoundation.com.
Yes.
Well, guys, thanks so much for being with me. I really appreciate you coming. Christy, thanks. I tell you what, Corey, good seeing you. Thanks so
Same
much
here.
for being
Same
with
here.
us.
Okay.
We really appreciate you coming. And First Step, what a great program. And it looks like you got something there, man.
Yeah,
What you got?
we want to give you a gift.
Oh, yeah, I
Kenny.
love gifts.
These are some wristbands that all of our kids wear,
First Step basketball, okay.
and we have a First Step T-shirt for you,
Okay.
and then we have a First Step sweatsuit for you. So
Oh, okay.
you have a whole outfit.
The whole outfit.
Right,
Man.
right.
Thanks so much. First Step. Don't believe me, folks. I'll be wearing this at home. Hey, thanks so much. FirstStepYouthFoundation.com.
Correct.
And we can't wait to see the documentary. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the gear. You come back tomorrow if you want to bring more gear. All right? Hey,
Okay.
when we come back, we're going to meet a young man that went from being a track star to a children's author. Back in a minute. Welcome back to Sports Edition. I'm Kenny McReynolds. Well, Curtis Weidman holds every throwing record at Evanston Township High School when it comes to track and field. The discus, the shot put, the hammer. He can throw it, he threw it, and he did it as better than anyone else in the history of ETHS, including our producer, George Blaze. But now Curtis is in a new venture. He has a book out, a children's book by the name of Top Dog. It is a pleasure to bring in Curtis. And Curtis, welcome to Sports Edition. And I tell you what, you were such a remarkable athlete at Evanston. Newspapers, articles, TV stories done on you. What made you decide to write a children's book?
Well, the goal was to give back to the youth. I wanted the youth to experience, take my experience and run with it. So to be able to guide, the youth through every possible opportunity that there is, being that if it's breaking records or writing books or singing, whatever their hidden talents are, I wanted to express that in a book and show them that anything is possible.
Hey, what really stands out to me, and we were talking earlier, this weekend you had a nice book signing up in Evanston, Illinois, where you're from. The ETHS community has really backed you very well and very supportive, and I think that's something you really like to thank because your people up in Evanston, because they came out in the masses to support you in this outstanding book, Top Dog.
Absolutely. One thing, it wasn't possible without, Evanston Township. From day one, they took me under their wing and they groomed me and they helped me grow and to develop as a man. And not only that, I praise them for everything that they have done for me. So I'm very grateful to Evanston Township.
Now, one thing I like about Top Dog, he was kind of down and out, all right? Tell us a little bit about the storyline. We don't want to give it all away because we want people to buy the book, but it's a very interesting storyline.
Well, Curtis, the character Curtis is, he tries out for the track team, and he doesn't quite make it first time around. And he has his head down. He doesn't know if track is where he wants to be at. So he gets inspired. He has a moment of revelation, and he gets back out there with the help of his genie. But you guys got to read the book. But he gets a little help and a little motivation, and gets pushed towards going back out there and trying it again. And long and behold, he becomes an athlete. He becomes a star. So it's a great book about motivation and overcoming your obstacles and your fears, and getting back out there once things don't work out the way you want them to, and seeing where the ride takes you.
And a lot of times, people are superstar athletes, maybe in elementary school and high school, get to college, and things may not work out as well as we would hope that they would work out. What was your motivation behind doing the book saying, look, okay, he didn't make it, he's down and out, I need the genie to help me? I mean, is this experience from not making a team, or, I mean, what's the motivation?
At first, me myself, when I was going through track in Evanston Township, they didn't know where to put me at first. So I did sprints, I did hurdles, I did pole vault, and once I got to the area of throwing, things kind of just took its course. And being able to have the support of a coach like Coach Woolridge coached me up, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because he was the rock that I needed. He was the foundation that set everything and set the tone for me to become the best athlete that I could possibly be.
Right. I mean, I think it's a great story. Hey, let's take a break. I want to come back and talk a little bit more, okay? Hey, the name of the book, Top Dog, is a great children's book. We want you to go get it. Hey, back with more in a moment. Welcome back to Sports Edition. Kenny McReynolds along with Curtis Weideman. The name of the book is a children's book, Top Dog. Great track story. You know, I'm a track guy, so I want you to go out and get this book. Curtis, I'm telling people, go get this book. We talked about they came out in the masses over the weekend to get this book. Where can people in TV land get this book?
Amazon.com are selling them. They're selling really well. So Amazon, you can go to your local Barnes and Nobles, and I have a website, curtiswyman.com, that you can go purchase them on as well.
Now, what I would like here, track and field in the Summer Olympics, that's the glory sport. Here, road to the 2020 Olympics. Talk about this part of your book, because that's everybody that runs track right now. You're thinking nothing but 2020.
Well, the road to 2020 Olympics, it's a tough one. You have your trials and tribulations that you have to get over. And me, I'm currently training to get to 2020. So the goal is to train every day with the discipline, the heart, the dedication, persistency, and making sure that I'm doing the right things. I'm eating right, I'm training right, and the focus is to get there and be able to write another possible book that's on the way. But the story behind that is just to keep focused and keep pushing, and never let your goals get out of your reach.
Now, the last page of the book, this page here, explain that.
This is one of the most dominant moments in the book for Curtis. He gets out of being a boy into a man, so he's crossing over into the college atmosphere. He's being able to look back and say, this is how far I came, and where are we going from here? So he's going to keep pushing and keep striving to be the best athlete that he could possibly be heading into college.
Now, you say your goal now is 2020 Olympics. What event are you looking to do?
Hammer throw.
Hammer time.
I love shot put, love discus, love weight. I was really good at all of them, but hammer's calling my name. So
I mean, I don't know if people understand, that is extremely difficult. Because that hammer is pretty heavy.
Yes, 16 pounds strapped to a wire and a handle. You have your choices of throwing from 3 to 4 spins in a ring, and you have to stay in and try to get the furthest mark out there possible. But I've been in my program for around 4 or 5 years now, and I tuned into being a really good hammer thrower, and a lot of people are watching and hoping I get to the 2020 Olympics.
Wait, now how do you train for the hammer toss?
Well, you go outside, you get in the ring, you do a couple turns, and you see how far you can throw the ball. So training for it, lifting heavy, eating right, dieting right, multiple turns. A lot of people don't understand, but if you pick up the book, you'll be able to, relate to what I'm saying. But you definitely just have to, put your shoes on and strap up and get out there and work hard.
Now, do you have a nutritionist, or do you just do it on your own?
I normally do it on my own. I haven't had a nutritionist throughout college or high school, so I basically look up what I need to be eating, what I need to be filling my body with, and then I go from there.
Okay, what about a strength and conditioning coach, or do you say, look, I can pick this hammer up and throw it?
I use the current SIU track team.
Okay.
Since I'm alumni there, they let me come in. I work out with the team, and I stick to the routine. And then the head coach that's there for the throwers, writes up my workouts as well.
Okay, but it's a lot of work.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It's not like you just go in, pick up the weight, and just go throw it at 500 feet and go home.
No, it's one of the hardest sports to do. One of the hardest events to do in track and field as well.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I enjoyed this book, Top Dog. I'm so happy you were able to come up and be on the show today. We want to make sure that people get it. Amazon.com, you said?
Amazon.com, Barnes & Nobles, as well as CurtisWeidman.com.
Well, Curtis, thank you so much. Hey, you get that 2020 Olympics to get that gold medal. Don't forget us, okay?
Absolutely. I won't. I'll come back.
All right, you come back. Hey, thanks so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And hope you can sell a lot of books. Go get it. Youngsters will love this book. Hey, there's only one thing remaining. The Grobber is here. What are you talking about after the break? We are joined by the Grobber. Check out the Grobber overnights on the Score. Let's get right into it. Well, spring training is here. Baseball season is here. Les, are you excited that both the Cubs and White Sox have reported to spring training?
Not really. I never usually get that excited now, and they're just working out. I know a lot of people go cover at this time of spring training. I find that kind of boring. They're not even playing games, and we know that this is a tip for people planning to go to games at spring training. Don't go the first couple of weeks because the regulars usually play about 2 or 3 innings, get 2 at-bats, and they're out of there. And
Right.
by the 5th inning, they're showered, shaved, and on their way home. But the best part about it is for fans, they get out of the chilly weather, even though it's not bad. It hasn't been a bad winter at all. But you still get down there and you're in the 70s and it's beautiful weather, and then you're starting to think about the summer.
But at least the Cubs have decided that Contreras will be the everyday catcher.
He's got to be. I don't think that's even a choice. He's got to be. Montero is the backup. He has had some issues with Joe Madden, which they apparently have worked out. And we know David Ross has retired. He's working for the team. Contreras is the best catcher on that team and in that whole organization.
Exactly, the entire organization. Well, that's one thing that we know, that we are now at the NBA All-Star break. What are your thoughts on the Bulls?
They're going to make the playoffs. They're either going to be 7th or 8th seed. If they get red hot, if they could play Toronto a bunch more times, they might get red hot. But, their chances now, everybody thought for sure they were going to play Toronto. Toronto hasn't even got home court advantage. They've dipped, as we're speaking, to 5th.
But see, the thing to me, the worst thing that can happen to this team is to make the playoffs.
I agree with you,
I'd
but
rather go in the lottery.
don't tell that to Gar Forman.
Well, no, of course not.
Gar Forman, a lot of people had suggested before the season even started, and a couple of our colleagues got into, shall we say, rather heated discussions with me. He says, I'm not going to be a 10-win team. I just refuse to do that. And so if people wanted to see them not tank, but just have a losing team out and do what Philadelphia is doing, they won't do it. And they want to make the playoffs. They want to get a couple of extra paydays. They might only have 2 home games, and then they might get hot and might actually win a round like they did when they beat Milwaukee. And remember, they surprised the Nets.
Right, but remember, those 2 home games, that's a lot of money in the bank.
That's all they care about. And do they really care about winning as much as they do the fact that they are tops in the entire league in attendance again?
Hey, you're right. They always will lead the league in attendance. Well, Les, I think this is going too far. The NBA D-League next year will become the Gatorade League. Welcome to the G League. Are we going too far selling everything in sports?
You knew it was coming. I always waited for them to start sponsoring the national anthem and call it the Betsy Ross Flag Company National Anthem. And again, I'm not kidding here. One of these days, they're going to sponsor a moment of silence. It's going to be the Jones Funeral Home, a moment of silent tribute to people. I mean, yeah, I'm being a little sarcastic there, but you know what? They want to make as much money as they can. That's all it is. It's bring in the bread.
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that it's going to be called the Gatorade League instead of the National Basketball Developmental League.
You like that better than CBA, the league that Isaiah Thomas single-handedly killed?
Yeah, but it was the Continental Basketball Association.
Right.
It was not Continental Airlines. So, yeah, it's unbelievable. Hey, here's the big question. Everybody's asking me, Grobber. I'll ask you. Is this the year of the Wildcats?
It has to be. They would have to go into a prolonged losing streak and get knocked out in the Big Ten tournament in their first game. They're going to have a bye out of the first round. That's no question about that. They're not going to get a sympathy vote. They're going to have to earn it because the selection committee gives nobody a sympathy vote except for the blue bloods like
about to say, what about Duke?
Kansas, Duke, North Carolina,
And Kentucky.
Kentucky. They will get a sympathy vote when they don't belong in. They not only put them in, they'll give them a higher seed than they deserve.
Well, no question about it. I think this is the year of the Wildcats. And let's not forget, Sunday night, 5:30, live on the U2, the CPS Boys Championship basketball game. Always a thrill. We'll have it live on the U2 from Chicago State.
I think that a beautiful, for those that haven't been in their relatively new arena, that's a beautiful building. It's a good place to hold it and a good atmosphere. And by the way, when that place is packed, it is loud.
It's loud, it's beautiful. Don't forget 5:30 on Sunday night. It will be myself, Blaney, and Mark Kruger.
I've heard of those guys.
Don't forget our Facebook page, the Game of the Week, CPS. Hit the like button for us. For the Grobber, I'm Kenny. See you next week on Sports Edition.